Chuck Billy here from Testament, here to talk about our brand new record Bellum coming out October 10th. So make sure you check that out.
Fantastic. Chuck, thanks for joining us today. Always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, as you say, Testament will unleash your 14th studio album, Parabellum, on October the 10th. So, how are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling really good. We're very excited. Once we heard the final mixes and the whole sequence of the record, it's just like, wow, man, this is pretty. It has a little bit of everything. And I can hear everything we've done in the past. We touch on a little on this, and then some. Even like those first song, "Love of Pain," there's little black metal elements in there, and Eric singing his black metal style with me, and it's just like, I've talked to some journalists. It's like first thing it says, "Well, hold on a minute, did they send me the wrong record?" This Testament.
It's true. And it's interesting you mention that actually, because in the opening notes, you step back in time by resurrecting a lost bridge from the legacy era. So, was that a deliberate nod linking the past to the present, or was it just because you found that bridge and you wanted to use it?
Well, we use that bridge, but I think we've grown to be more than just the thrash band and have that offering. So we we have it on this record, but again, like I said, we push that a little bit further, and vocally, it's some brutal stuff, but somehow I still find somewhere to put a hook and a melody in there over the brutality. And I think that's just what sets this one a little bit different. Titans is a great record, some great songs, but I think this one just something unique, and I think it's because Chris brings a new, fresh energy and a younger energy, and he's obviously younger than us and was raised in a different genre of metal than we were. So maybe there's a little bit of that element in there that's him and Eric, you know, found.
I explored on that a little bit too, mate. Like you mentioned it briefly, but the album sounds unmistakably like Testament, but there's flirtations with the black metal atmospherics on tracks like Infanticide AI and For the Love of War. Like it's an interesting addition. Like why now sort of bring those elements to it?
It wasn't planned. It's just the way it happened was Chris has probably been the first drummer that spent so much time with Eric writing.
Okay, good.
And Chris would stay at Eric's house, and they kind of kept the riffs from me. They wanted to just work and write and collect them and record them. So I know there was a lot of hanging out, drinking, watching horror movies, and just like having fun, I guess. And I was watching a movie and going, "Let's go downstairs and let's jam," And then next thing you know, I was like, "Man, we wrote this killer piece last night at 2 in the morning, drunk." Well, really? Okay, let's hear that. Holy shit, you guys did something. You guys did write something great. So a lot of that was just fun, and for them to give me such a diverse and variety of riffs, it really let me to go down different avenues vocally and find different things to do, and even challenged, I guess, is a word that I would say vocally sometimes on these songs, because some of them were like, I would say, yeah, that doesn't really sound like a metal riff, is that going to be on the record? But then in the end, once I wrote it, it fit the whole record, and it does make it a little more diverse, because it's just not a foot on the gas, let's go. We really kind of made it to where, and especially Eric sequencing the record, the order of the record is unusual, but it works. Song like "Meant to Be" fourth, and the title track last, and coming out with "Love of Pain," just brutal death metal at the beginning. It's so like the wrong way to think about doing it, but we did it and it worked.
It's actually good because a lot of bands these days they don't really put much thought into the track listing because people play it on Spotify and stuff, and it's all played out of context. But it's good to see a band actually put some thought into it and getting the album flowing, because there are old dinosaurs like me out there still that listen to an album from start to finish.
Yeah, and that's when I know, because we write each song individually, track them individually. So you don't really know what the record's going to be like. We know there's some oddball songs, and a lot of them are different from each other, but until it's sequenced, and you sit back and listen to the whole thing, that's when I first said, "Wow, this is a really good record. I really enjoy just putting it on and listen start to finish. I don't skip songs. It's not one of them skip song records. It's you play them all."
Yeah. Along those lines, bro, like how difficult is it for you as a band to make your music sound fresh and modern in some respects while still playing a style of music that you perfected about 40 years ago?
Well, I mean, it could be tough, but I think where Eric shines is that he doesn't go out and search for new bands or listen to serious radio. So he's really focused on what he likes. He likes his black metal. He likes his classic metal. He likes his British wave of heavy metal. So when he writes, he's not really inspired by what's happening today. But I think Chris, being so young, played some stuff and inspired Eric and
Right.
Chris's abilities to just put his foot on the gas and Eric go, come on, keep up, let's go. You know, so there's something to that. And I think maybe that's what, to me, when I first heard it all, to me, first thing I said is, wow, this sounds fresh. This sounds new, and especially vocally trying to do new things and use new voices, you know, in the recording process.
Now, how did you go with that, man? Like listening through it, like your voice ranges, there's cleans in there, there's your normal harsh, there's some demonic whispers. Like you do cover a large spectrum. Like you say, like a lot of them are sort of new territory for you. But how as you're getting older and more experienced in the industry, how hard is it for you to break that cycle of just doing what you know and trying something different?
Um, well, I think we've always tried to do that since the Gathering record and the records moving forward was always trying to do something different. And, you know, I'm not a trained vocalist or anything, so I've always just kind of go with my gut instinct. And when I recorded this record, I didn't sing the songs with the band ever. I wrote the lyrics and they never even heard the lyrics till I recorded them, you know. So it was a big chance that like, okay, but I'm feeling good with this and I feel this is the right voice to use. This is the right hook in this song and this is the right texture of tone of the voice to lay on this track. So all of that was like, to me, my part, because those guys did their part creating it. Vocally, I just had to keep up and find my way not to ruin what they did.
How do you go there? Like people know your voice and you know how you can sing. And when you're doing things like this now, like, and you take it to the band, like, because it's new, like, do you get nervous still, or do you get apprehensive that maybe it's not right, or do you still back
I,
yourself?
I I do because I'll hear it and I'll give it to them. And Eric's pretty crucial. He knows what he wants, but he doesn't know vocal style yet when he's writing his riffs. He doesn't hear that part of it. You know, he's just listening to every nook and cranny in the drum beats and fills and where the bass is playing. So he leaves that open for me. And, you know, sometimes he'll have an opinion on something or, you know, use this voice. And yeah, I'll take that to heart. But sometimes if I try it and it doesn't work, and I'm comfortable with what I've done, because when I go in the studio, of course, I'm trying it for the first time. I
Mm.
haven't sang this live. So I'm experimenting and testing tones and textures and what feels right. So once I'm comfortable recording that day and listen back, okay, I'm happy. Send it to Eric. Let's see what they say, you know.
Now, Bellum also sees Testament lay down your first album ballad in many years called Meant to Be. Like, why was now the right time to bring back the ballad, you reckon?
Um, I think because, you know, the last year we've been celebrating our Practice What You Preach record and we were out playing those songs, but we also added Return to Serenity, The Ballad, Trail of Tears, City of Angels. We're playing all these songs, and usually over the years we're like, we're not playing any ballads. You know, the old fans might dig it, but there's so much new fans that are coming to our shows, they might not care for this. But when we were celebrating Practice record, we were playing all of them. We've seen the response by new fans and the old fans. They were like, wow, and we loved it. We had such a good time. We were owning it. That think I gave us the nerve to like not be afraid to put it on a new record. And you know, at first it was a long track. It was like 8 minutes, and I'm like, wow, it's a lot of lyrics. So, wow, okay, I got to tackle this one. But once I found my way through it, where the vocals needed to be and the leads needed to be, it just made sense. And I think it has to be one of the best ballads I think we wrote. You know, I hate calling it a ballad, but it's just a good song.
And it also features world-renowned cellist Dave Igor on it. So how hard was it to integrate the sounds of cello into your music?
We didn't know what it was going to be like after we listened to some of the playback. At that point, it was sounding really nice. The guitars are there, but we're like, you know what? I just can hear a soothing string section on it too, because there's room for it. So Alex says, hey, I know somebody. And he reached out to Dave, and Dave was very excited to do it. And we didn't give him any direction. He just kind of listened to it, interpreted it himself, and put what he felt right down. And it did it perfectly. The way he bends some of them cello notes into it, and it just flows over it really nice. And he found his own space, and it just opened it up. When I hear it, I'm like, wow, man, that's nice.
Indeed. Now, the album title is taken from the Latin phrase, if you want peace, prepare for war. So run us through that concept and how it fits in with the album.
Well, first of all, it fit in with the artwork, because originally we were going to call it Infanticide AI, but that didn't really, to me, match the direction they were going, because Eric works on that, the direction of the art. And also, we thought, okay, well, AI, let's not go there maybe, because maybe fans might start going, wait, is that album cover AI? Did they use AI to write lyrics and all this? So we're like, you know what, let's not open that door. And once me and Alex wrote Parabellum, and I told him what it meant, prepare for war, it made more sense with what he was working on with the artwork, because we knew we wanted like a mushroom cloud there in the background, and I didn't know about the angel and the missile wings. But once they came up with it, it just made sense. It's like, yeah, it's subliminally war driven a little bit, talking about silent weapons and
Yeah.
things that are going on in our world.
There's so many layers to that cover too, mate. Like essentially, it's got an angel made of missiles that's engulfed by a halo of fire, surrounded by cult members with books strapped to their faces. Like the more you look at it, when you know those sort of things, like it's visually stunning anyway. But there's so many depths and layers to it. It's a great piece of art.
It really is, and the color palette when I first seen it, because I only seen it at the sketch phase until the final art. I seen it and I knew I leave it up to them. I don't have an opinion. So when he first showed me it, right away I thought it took me like to a practice what you preach, just that bright, vivid, bold color, and it was right. It felt good, and since the music and album sounds so fresh, the album looks fresh. It really fit what we did.
Yeah. I actually gave some thought to the phrase parabellum after listening to the album. And do you think it was initially conceived by someone preparing to wage war as a threat? Or do you think it was made by a pacifist resigned to the fact that war was coming?
Well, I mean, we were just inspired by what's going on in our world with, Russia and Ukraine. This is the first time, we wrote song World War III on Titans of Creation, because I was thinking, man, this is the closest I've ever seen to a World War III. And then move into today where we, see the destruction of, uh, you know, the war going on in Ukraine. Man, there's so much to talk about, so much to cover.
Mm.
And I like singing and writing about real things that affect people or they can relate to. You know, Heavy metal bands tend to write cliche metal lyrics, which that's okay. But when you have writing 130, 40 songs, you gotta think a little bit more and out the box.
So would you say overall Parabellum is an album of hope or despair?
I think it's an album of hope, especially like in songs like Meant to Be. When you first hear it, you'll probably think it's a love song between a man and a woman singing back and forth and preach for each other. That was meant to be. But it's actually about mankind and our planet, what we've done to abuse our planet and our relationship with the planet. And no matter what we do, in the end, humanity is going to survive, and it's going to, keep on. We're going to keep carrying on, no matter what we're hit with. And that was a part of it that I kind of used that. And then songs like Havana Syndrome. It's a silent weapon that was used against the American consulate in Havanas in the 70s. So again, it's kind of a war themed weapon. So Subliminate has the theme carries throughout it.
And that's all right, Chuck. Well, thanks very much for your time, bro. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Parabellum is out October 10th, and It is a fantastic crack of a record, bro. So well done, and we'll chat to you soon.
Thank you so much, Chris. It's good talking to you, man.